What's up, YouTube? My name is Logan, Fitz, whatever the hell you call me, and I'm back on YouTube, going to be producing a lot more content now, and I'm really excited to get into this video, which is going to teach you how to create 100 banger pieces of content fast. This is basically a stripped down process of what we use in Launch Socials, our consulting company where we help people create the social media content that's going to build their brand, acquire the audience that they want, help them launch their offer to that audience, and really just do it the right way. I've been creating content for 4 years now, 5 years now, something like that, and been able to do a lot and learn a lot from it, and really just want to make this video as helpful as possible because I really just genuinely believe that content right now is the number one thing that you can do to really just get anything you want. So much of my life now is driven by the fact that I've put out good content on the internet for the past few years, and hopefully this will help you do that at the highest level. So I'm going to share my screen, run through some stuff, and we will get into it. Maybe. There we go. Cool. So you should be able to see my screen now. I'm going to minimize OBS. And you see I have this little stripped down outline for this video. And really what it is pulling from the process that we use that people pay us, almost $6,000 for to have us create their content and pull stuff out of them. Some of these documents I didn't include in here, but I'm going to touch on it briefly. We go a lot more in depth. This is just one aspect, and I want to make something simple, easy that you can use to go and just eliminate the indecision, because I think a lot of content is about just eliminating the friction and feeling good and having clarity on what it is you want to post and what that looks like. And this is how we do it. So firstly, I touched on the documents that are part of our process that would be just too long for a YouTube video to all put in there. But I wanted to go through these steps. And we do these with Google Docs and prompts and a lot of that kind of stuff. But there's 4 steps in my mind to kind of just give you some prep work. Number 1, figure out exactly who you want to be, right? People talk about manifestation and all this stuff, but if you set an intention to be a certain kind of person, I think that's probably one of the more helpful life concepts you can ever do anyway, just in general. I've gotten a lot from people like Joe Dispenza or Neville Goddard, and it's helped me a lot. And I really think too, I did it back then when I was a fresh 20-year-old college dropout, thinking that it was going to give me the keys to the universe, right? And give me all the money I wanted and the life I wanted, whatever. But it really ended up setting a great foundation for me as a marketer and for me as a creator to make all that content off. I wrote out, who I was, the I am, the I have, the affirmation, so to speak. In hindsight, it was pointless as a productivity tool, but it was really great to get clarity on the brand that I wanted to build, right? So write that out. Present tense, I am, I have. Just figure out what your values are, what you stand for. Get really, really clear on that. Take some time with it. Fill out a page in a Google Doc and just write that down, or even better, pen and paper. I'm a pen and paper guy, right? And then number 2, write your story of how you got to that point, right? So what did your past look like? How did you build up everything moving forward? That's going to give you a lot of stuff to pull from, especially as we go to make content, because you can tell these things through a story. People love stories. They're captivating. They're interesting. It gives some entertainment value to even maybe the most boring things if you can tell a good story around it. So I want you to write out your story from childhood, adolescence. Just go through that whole process and get it all out there. Brain dump your life to this point, right? So at this point now you have who you want to be, which really creates your future, right? And then how you got to that point, just reflecting on the past. And then number C and D, I want you to just do a bunch of research, right? Don't take too long, but go find, the competitors that are out there doing doing the things that you want to do, right? Go learn as much as you can about the people who are doing it, potential colleagues you'd have, the market, and actually really focusing on the people that you want to help. If you want to make content, if you want to start a business, if you want to do anything really in life, you have to give to other people, right? You have to help them and actually actualize their desires and look into what are their problems, what are their frustrations, what's stopping them from getting to where they want to be. You have to help other people, right? That's why billionaire hate is just pretty brain dead, low IQ behavior, because the billionaires, I promise you, are helping more people than anyone else. That's how you become a billionaire. I mean, sure, there's maybe some shady, dark ones that are running backhand deals with the World Economic Forum, probably, right? But the majority of billionaires are helping a lot of people at scale. You have to help others, right? There's no difference there, whether it's an internet business or content, whatever, right? So do those things. To me, each of them should be like a page in a Google Doc. If you're taking more than, an hour on each of them, it should be like a day. You bang that out, you figure out, all right, what is the brand I want to build? Who's doing it? What are the people that kind of create that market? What are they struggling with? What problems do they have? How do they speak? What do they like? What do they listen to, right? And then just figuring out who you want to be as a person, because your personal brand and your content is just going to be a direct reflection of that if you do it right, right? So then from there, you should have a pretty good idea of that brand that you want to build, right? And so the next thing I want you to do to create a bunch of content that's really, really good, really fast, is I want you to make topics for that, right? You've got your specific expertise or your domain authority, and this is where a lot of your value-driven content is going to come from, right? You have your broader general niche. This is where a lot of your inspiration content is going to come from, right? And then you have your personal interests. Okay, so for me, and I'm just going to break this down for me because it's easy, and I'll show you how fast you really can ideate stuff, right? For me, it would be something along the lines of like health, or like maybe esoteric health, biochemistry, right? Second would be lifting, mobility, just like general fitness / performance, right? And then third, maybe you throw in, I don't know, like content and ads marketing, and then like sales, right? Those are my four, like really my strongest skill sets probably at this point, right? And then broader general niche would be, for me, it's like, internet, entrepreneurship, probably, you can see I'm ideating, right? But I want to illustrate how fast you really can get a lot done. So internet entrepreneurship, I would probably say, right wing. What's the right way to describe my right-wingness, schizo? I don't know. Like basically people who hold similar beliefs that I do. I don't want to say traditionalists because the trads can be really weird sometimes. But I would say, we'll say a right-wing truth seeker. How about that? That sounds good, right? And then the other broad general niche I would just say is like Gen Z, fun enjoyer, right? Gen Z, and I like to have fun. That's like a subsect of the internet, I would say, right? And then personal interest, I would say sports, action sports. I train MMA, love to play basketball, all that kind of stuff. Wakeboarding, skiing, you name it. Like love sports in general. So sports, action sports, I would say creative endeavors. I can't spell, wow. So that's for me like producing music or editing videos and doing that kind of stuff, right? Number 10, personal interest. What else would I throw in here? I'm blanking on it. Might have to cut this video out so there's not a ton of dead time. No, give me another personal interest, like sports or action sports or creative endeavors.
Have you done jokes, memes? Have you done humor? Like, have you said that yet?
I said Gen Z fun enjoyer, which is kind of where that would fall in. I said sports, action sports, and then creative endeavors, so like music.
Psychology? Communication?
That's not a bad one.
Like human dynamics? I don't know.
I would just say in general, like learning a lot. I'm a very curious person. You know, that could be history, that could be politics, that could be psychology, right? I just enjoy, I even enjoy like STEM. I was an engineering major for the 4 semesters of college I completed, one of them in high school, right? So we'll just say learning a lot. And that could be any of those different things. That's not important, right? You will have more time to think about it. You won't be doing it live for an audience. So hopefully that wasn't too incredibly boring for the 20 seconds I was pontificating there, right? So now you have these topics that are going to make up the bulk of your content, right? And then under each topic, you can just get more specific, right? You know, health and biochemistry, I could say diet. I could say, you know, lifestyle. I could say, esoteric health, biochemistry. I could say sleep, even though I need to work on my sleep, right? At least right now. Diet, lifestyle, sleep. Nutrition. I'll probably break diet. Well, diet is kind of nutrition, but that's a big one, right? So we'll say like calories and macros, micronutrients, you know, metabolism, whatever. I'm not going to go through and give all of these. I just want to illustrate like what this looks like, right? So calories and macros, micronutrients, lifestyle, sleep, metabolism, lifting. I could do, you know, fundamentals of programming. I could do, you know, mobility. I could do strength and hypertrophy, right? Sprinting / jumping, you know, rehab / injuries. Right, so all these different subtopics. Content and ads marketing, you know, hooks, mechanisms. We could do, let's say I'm doing it right now, right? Ideation, we'll say conversion, right? You're getting people to take action. Sales, right? You have framing, you have a pitch, you have objections, you have systems, right? And then as you get into your broader niche, you have, you know, internet entrepreneurship. It would be like growth, growth mindset, right? Managing a team, like scaling, tax prep. And you can see how this is stuff that's like, it's applicable to my life, but it's more, it's stuff that more people can relate to versus people who are just like, you know, in the trenches kind of related to. This is almost like stuff you could talk to about people who are like nerds about it or really interested in it. And then this is stuff that, you know, more people can relate to, right? Wow, my nose is super itchy, whatever, allergies. So tax prep, right-wing truth seeker, right? So you could say, like I think, you know, God factors into this a lot, like God and faith, you know, anti-state, anti-media, anti, or we'll say pro ownership. And that to me is like ownership of your behavior. I'm just giving you guys examples. Gen Z fun enjoyers. So that'd be like music, like memes, just little things like that. Personal interests. So like MMA, wakeboard, you know, basketball, rock climbing, right? Had a rock climbing phase about a year ago. Creative endeavors, music production, video editing. I'm starting to get into film now, as you can see. Little things like that, and then just like learning a lot, social life, like say like dating, right? I don't know, STEM, history, right? So you can see I just went through and like I created these 3 topics, and I want you to understand how I kind of think about these things. Like at the end of the day, if you're building a brand, you want to build a company, you have to solve problems for people. You have to showcase domain authority and like actually help people understand that you understand something really well and you can help them solve that problem. If you don't have that, you're never going to make money from your content and you'll be just another broke TikToker, right? Then as you go down here, you can see these things, as we're going more broad and we're trying to relate to more people, this is really where you build the personal brand aspect of it. And I think this is something that a lot of people who are online, especially if they want to start a business online, they really miss, because number one, you're losing so much room for growth based on the fact that people just know and like you, right? And also, you're just automatically like, not everybody's going to be a biochem nerd, right? But if you can build a friendship with them and they see your content, they can relate to it, they're entertained by it, you have that personal brand that people just strongly kind of fuck with, you're going to be able to just build a much bigger audience. I see a lot of people where they're like, oh, that doesn't matter, we only want buyers. Well, like, that's true to some extent. You definitely want that domain authority, but to me, it's just like you're a commodity at that point, right? Anyone can, do Facebook group marketing, right? Anyone, they can learn the skill, they can get good at it, they can become world class if they work hard enough at it. You want to be you and somebody that nobody can compete with because you are you, right? And so now what we do is we have these topics, right? All these different topics. For you, sitting down and actually doing this exercise, I would really recommend doing 10 for each of them. Like come up with it, take some time, again, another hour, and spit these topics and subtopics out, right? Because then what I want you to do is start turning those topics, those ideas into hooks, right? Because that's ultimately how we now start, turning just random brainstorming into pieces of content. And if you don't have strong hooks in 2023, your stuff's probably going to suck for the most part. Like, you're probably not going to get a lot of views, right? If we have 1 unit of someone's attention, or if we have 10 units of someone's attention, we need to spend the first one just convincing us to give them all of those 10 units of attention, right? We actually want them to watch our stuff. It doesn't matter how good your stuff is if no one watches it. So I would take these hook types, right? And I do it this way. I got this from Keith Krantz. Really one of the best, course materials I've ever purchased. Like, really great workshop from him and his team. Kudos to Keith, great marketer. But I went through their training and I use his hook types because to me it's better than anything else I've used, and I haven't found a situation where it kind of breaks this. And so it's made it very easy for me to compile these things, right? And use this as a framework. And so I'll write out these hook types. And that's because I want to understand the mechanism for attention, right? I want to actually understand why somebody is watching this. What is captivating them, right? Because then if I know that, I can really easily turn that up. It's like if you're hearing a concert and there's some sound you really love, right? But you don't know what instrument it is, it becomes very hard to replicate that or find more music like that, right? But if you know that it's the cowbell symbol, right? Now you can go find songs that have that and you can turn it up, right? Because you know what is actually getting the attention. So you can turn up the attention you get from it, right? And then to add on that, I would just say the more specificity you have to what you do and your own experiences, again, just makes this stuff a little bit more unique and captivating because people are watching stuff all day long. They're dopamine zombies. And if you can stand out a bit, it's going to help your content a lot. Oh, take a little water drink there. I'm just kind of raw dogging this YouTube stuff. We're going to figure it out as time goes on. Probably start editing a bit more, but for now, fuck it, we ball. Right? So I'm going to run through these hook types real quick. Smack in the face with a big idea. What memorable things can someone leave whatever they're reading or watching with afterwards, right? If you want to learn more about this is a whole thing in and of itself, right? This would be a topic for me in, where is it? Content and ads marketing, like big ideas, right? Super pivotal copywriting skill. And if you can just Google, big idea, magazine articles, or old school copywriting, big idea examples, and they'll show you the newspaper prints. It'll make sense, right? Big ideas. What big ideas can you smack someone in the face with that they leave and they're like, whoa, right? Debunk an idea, contrarian, that's super easy. What things in the marketplace now do you disagree with? Confirming existing belief or thought system. What belief in the marketplace do you agree with, right? Curiosity sparking an open loop. How can you, this is like the example I always give for this is the action movies where they start the movie halfway through and somebody dies first minute, right? And then you're just like, what the fuck? What happened? I don't know. And now you have to watch the movie, opened a loop in your brain. Or if you think of something that you can't remember, right? And you're like, fuck, what was it? And it bothers you. It's an open loop in your mind, right? Success story, proof, results. What have you done? How have you helped other people, right? Credibility, authority. What celebrities, experts, well-known people have used your service or what you do, or how have you helped them, right? Demonstrative. How can you show what you're doing? How can you just literally show it? How can you demonstrate it live for someone, right? Educating, informing of a new idea. What has someone not heard of, right? Like in the, right-wing health circle, 5 years ago or whatever, fluoride being bad for your health was a new idea. Seed oils being bad was a newer idea, right? Show transformation. How can you show what happened before, what happened after, right? Metaphors, analogies, statistics, data. This is like the stat that 1 in 3 men in the past year haven't had sex, right? That's a metaphor. And you could multiply that, or you can twist it up. You can sort of play around with these as well and say, well, 33% of men haven't had sex in the last year, right? And you'll find ways to manipulate those numbers where it sounds better or it sounds stronger, it sounds more captivating. You're like, whoa, that's crazy, right? 1 in 3 probably sounds crazier than 33 out of 100, right? It's a realer number in that instance. Emotional belief system or narrative, right? You could see this all the time in terms of political stuff, right? They're leading with a narrative that people like or dislike, right? For example, you lead with something about, border control, right? Just any topic where people are emotionally charged, right? Inspiration, pretty self-explanatory. How does this inspire someone? Newsjacking, how do current events serve what you're talking about right now? And then last but not least, funny. People love to laugh and to be entertained. Most people on the internet are just there to be entertained, right? So now you have all these hooks, and you can literally just go, and I gave some examples already, but you can, put them side by side and think, man, maybe the way that you train mobility is really contrarian, right? And so now you can start writing these ideas. You can fit things in based on what mechanism for attention's actually gonna work, right? Maybe you have a big idea about how you should eat in metabolism that's very unique in the marketplace. That's a big idea. You don't have to count calories. You can just manage your metabolism, right? And you can see kind of how it works. If you're posting, anti-media content, you can use newsjacking. But I want you to write you have these topics and subtopics, and I want you to think about them through this lens, because you're going to make a lot more pivotal content, because stuff actually makes sense, and you're actually creating good content because you're placing things with hooks that match them, right? So from there, you can literally just write those hooks. Just like I said, if we're doing a contrarian hook about metabolism, you don't have to count calories. You can just kickstart your metabolism. That is a hook, right? Now you have a content idea. You don't just have a topic or some broad idea. You have a piece of content, right? And so that's how I write hooks. I think it's really useful to just do this. Make things simple, make it easy. You have the framework where you can go and write these really good hooks because you understand what's going on and why it's actually captivating attention, right? And then from there, when you go to write the body, I think about a couple things, right? Number one, conciseness of language and broad appeal. This is something I do really, really bad at. I need to get a lot better at it in my own content if I want to keep growing, right? I really wish I would have understood this more 2 years ago. I probably have a lot more impact and influence right now, right? If people read something or hear something that they don't understand, they just turn off, right? They just won't listen because they don't understand it. So it can never really land with them. And so what I want you to do is just make sure that you're always using the most concise language, right? Or even there, concise, I could use an easier word. Using the simplest language you possibly can. And this doesn't mean dumb it down. If you have something complex, just define it for people, right? Tell them if you're using niche specific terminology, break it down. Like make them understand it so they can keep reading throughout everything, right? And this will help you find a more broad appeal and you'll just connect with more people because they can actually understand it. You got to remember, a lot of people are very, very dumb, right? I hate to say it, but it's true. And then secondly, just always think in your bodies, what is someone else getting from this, right? I talked about it early in the video. You have to give to people and you have to help people if you ever want to do anything in the content world, right? And so people are only ever online for 4 reasons. They're there to be entertained, they're there to be inspired, and they're there to, they're kind of 4 reasons, but it's also really 3, to be informed or to ascertain value. And I define value as specific, implementable, actionable advice that gets someone closer to their dream outcome with less struggle, headache, obstacle, sacrifice, whatever that thing might be. I'm gonna get another drink of water here. Right? And so again, in our bodies, once we know what someone would be getting from our content, whether that's entertainment, inspiration, value, or information, right? The difference there is like not all information gets you closer to your dream outcome, right? But once we know what someone's getting, it becomes very easy to turn up the dial on that specific piece, right? If you're trying to give value, give more value. If you're trying to inspire, be more relatable, be more inspiring. If you're trying to entertain, be more entertaining, right? Because what this does is it starts to elicit an emotional response from the people watching your content, which really is the only way to win in this game. If people aren't watching your content and you're providing one of these 3 things enough that they want to like, share, comment, bookmark, save, whatever you're trying to do, if they're not doing that, it's not good content, right? Even if you have a lot of likes, maybe you have a ton of followers, if that's not happening as much, if people aren't getting emotional responses from what you're doing, it's not that great, right? And so it becomes easy to turn up the dial on whatever that piece is. If you want your value to be more valuable, go deeper, right? Like understand the topic more thoroughly. Give them more, information that gets them closer to that dream outcome faster. Like just give more and be better at what you do, right? Be really good at what you do. Go deep. If you want to, have more entertaining content, or you want your entertaining content to get more of an emotional response, turn up the star power a little bit. I know that's kind of vague, but be more captivating. Look at people like Tate, right? He's so articulate and it's so powerful because he has star power, right? With all of his content. And then if you want your inspiration stuff to be more relatable, then be more vulnerable, right? Be more real. Show that discrepancy in the process and document more and like be okay opening up to other people, right? And so then from there, you write these hooks, you come down here and you can figure out what your body's going to be and just makes it easier to turn that up a bit, right? And then you just make the content. You have each hook and then you write the body for it, or you ideate the body for it, loose structure, and boom, go write a Twitter thread and go film a video, whether that's long form or short form, right? Because now when you do that, I always recommend if people are just starting and you don't have money, you don't have time, just do short form, right? If you have money and time, then dig into YouTube, right? Because you're just going to get more bang for your buck. It takes a lot to produce YouTube videos, right? But take those hooks, take the rough outline for the body and what you're trying to do, and write a Twitter thread and write a short form video or create a short form video, right? Because once you do that, those two things now create 6 pieces of content because you can use them elsewhere, right? And if you just do that every morning, right? You go through this list. I want to give you kind of rein it back into the process, right? You write 10 topics out. You write 10 subtopics out. Now you take those subtopics and I would go through each of them one by one, Boom, you do esoteric health and biochemistry. If you're me, you get those 10 topics laid out and you roll through them with these hook types and figure out, what hook type fits this topic or concept, right? You go through, you write hooks for, these 100 pieces of content, or you place them with like what you think might work in terms of a hook type. Every Sunday, you take 5, 6 of these hooks for the week. You write a rough outline for the body, and then you come down here, and Monday you've got, one of them that you pick, you write a Twitter thread on it, and you make a short form video, right? And now, you're getting out 6 pieces of content from that, 30 minutes of work to write the thread and create a video, right? 6 pieces of content. You do that 5 days a week, that's 30 pieces of content, right? And that's not counting just your little written daily thoughts, right? You can put out so much content if you just capture your ideas, right? Every single day, you have probably 10 to 20 ideas that are really good. And most people, unfortunately, just throw them down the drain. They just get rid of them, right? They just get lost because you forget about stuff 30 seconds later, right? So get a notepad, get the notes in your phone, and capture these ideas. Or even better, throw them right on Twitter. Throw them right on your IG story, right? And post that stuff up. You start creating an archive of all your ideas. And, or you see a meme. You see a viral video on a meme page that's funny. You want to repost it, right? Boom. And then if anything major hits you, you can just create something more intentionally, right? Live. I think there's a lot to that, creating content on the spot when the energy's kind of raw, right? And that's literally how you can start creating a ton of content, right? Now, obviously, you can start running some paid stuff. You can add in, networking with people and really just kind of trying to find the people on there who are already crushing it, and you can be a colleague too and networking with them and meeting people, right? But if you do this, you can just crank out so much content so fast. Hopefully this is helpful. That's my intention with these videos. Hopefully they're not too turboed out for you. But that is how I would create a bunch of pieces of content really fast. And yeah, the way we do it at Launch Socials, obviously there's a lot of other things you can always add as much complexity as you want. But I wanted to film a video where, just giving you guys simple, easy frameworks where you can hit the ground running and make really, really good content, because it is one of the most pivotal skills in 2023. So if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to start posting a lot more now. So I'm super excited for that. And if you have anything else that you'd want me to make a video about, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to just kind of make stuff on demand, right? Because I'm making these videos for you guys. Obviously it helps me long term, but I want to make the best YouTube videos on the internet. So if you have something that you want me to talk about, I will do my best to bring a very, very strong approach to that. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.